RTI.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
You're never more than a minute away from the music on RTI.
That is the station, HKPPY. We plan to help your day go by.
RTI.
Don't worry. Be happy.
RTI.
The best music, 24 hours a day.
Be the love generation. Come on.
RTI. The station of the stars. RTI.
The best music, 24 hours a day.
You see, a long jingle and he makes it. Marvellous, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful. The sound of positive stuff. That'll be us then, won't it? This is Radio Tatras International, and the crew are arriving en masse. I will say hello to a few of you first, because it's got to be done. And they're coming in so thick and fast, I can't keep up. Dorothy is there, Rob, Chris, Dave Solby, Ferro is there, the lovely Karen is there, Dubiden Moya, Stephen is there. Steve says, wait, someone is missing. Is Teddy taking his place? Yes, he is actually. Thank you for the nice wave, Karen. Nice one. Richard is there, as is Terry. Nicola is there. And we moved down to get a few more of you in. Jude is there from Australia. Hello, Jude. Sonia says hello. John Clark. Ever's there. Do be then ever. Rusty is there, as is Craig and Trevor. And Phil and Vince is there as well. There is just so many of you. I can't keep up. Ross is there. I bet he's hungover, says Steve. No, he's not hungover. He's on the Skypey thing because himself has run away again. Hello.
Hello.
Where have you run to this time?
I'm in Wolverhampton again. It's horrible.
Oh, no. You're in Wolverhampton. Horrible. Well, Rob's in Scarborough.
Who's Rob?
Rob Randall.
Is he?
Yeah.
Hello, Rob. It's better in Scarborough.
It's only the one and only Rob Randall from Scarborough, you know.
Is that Scarborough?
That's Scarborough.
Can you hear me cup?
Yeah, but I don't want to hear your cup.
Well, I'm just showing how homely it is in Wolverhampton. I'm having a cup of tea on the park bench.
Well, yeah, you're probably sleeping on the park bench. Hello, Rach.
Hello.
Hello, I'm going to do what we call in the trade an OB for a second,
Right.
so that you can get a sense of how windy it is here. This is going to be like, you remember when they send the CNN reporters out in the middle of a storm?
Yes.
And they report from the middle of a hurricane? It's going to
Yes.
be like that. Hang on. I was going, I'm reporting to you live from windy Melbourne. Ah! No, I don't like OBs. I'm going back indoors.
I could hear that.
It's
I could hear
really
wind.
windy.
Was that Rob?
Well, yeah, no. If it's Rob, it's windier than that. But it's really windy. I think it's gusting to about 50 kilometres an hour right now.
Wow.
Which is very windy indeed.
More hellos. Hello to Jenny Hodge and Mike and Dav and also Craig. My God.
Craig?
Yeah. Oh, and Russ says, Rob the Lena fan, I believe. Oh, very good, Russ. Yes, very good, very good. Like that one. And that's Dave Williams is there. Yes, Dave Williams. I've got mucky glasses today. I don't know why.
For drinking from or for looking through?
For looking through.
Are you looking through the bottom of them?
No, the top. The normal bit.
No, drinking glasses. You can look through the bottom of your drinking glasses. That's how you used to
No. These are glasses that one requires when one gets to 23 years of age, as I am, to read the screens that I have in front of me.
Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, I've not mentioned ConsumerWatchFoundation.com yet, but I will do. And do you know that he said I was fat? He had the temerity on Wednesday to say I was fat.
I did not. I did not.
You did.
I said, has your tummy grown?
Yeah, I could hear yours groaning. Yeah, every time you stand up, yours groans.
Hello to Tommy Rivers in London. What a guy, Tom Rivers. And who else have we got? Trevor is there. Craig is there. And another Phil's just joined us. Gosh. There's so many of you, I'm never going to keep up today, but we'll do our level best. Now, before I forget, because we do have what is known in the trade as the running order, and I forgot...
hang on.
What?
I'm just going to go and get it.
Oh, God.
The Mickey.
Oh, dear. Hey, I love this from the radio people. Russ D's there, and he said, I've had an audience decrease. Eric has stolen my listeners. Ha ha. Great to see you are well, mate. And to you, Russ. Keep it rocking, mate.
Is it called Russ D? Or
yes.
Russ?
Russ D.
With a D?
D-double-E.
Not an E?
No. And I have to say, quite seriously for a minute, I'm very privileged with the amount of broadcasters that come and join us every week. You're very, very kind and very gentle and lovely, and you don't take the mickey out of my mistakes, which are regular. Now, the other week I had a phone call. No, the other week, it was Wednesday evening, actually, I had a phone call with a panicking person saying, "Ah!" And I said, no, calm down. And I have to say thank you to Charles, who's one of our regulars, who reminded me just before we came on air to share with everybody, and it is going a bit bonkers now. These people are absolutely pathetic individuals, whereby people are using automatic dialers, and that means that they just push a button and randomly it calls a UK mobile number. Yeah. And they claim to be calling you from HMRC, which is Her Majesty's money machine, because that's where they get the taxes and the VAT and all the rest of it. Hi, Alan. And they go, we're sorry to tell you, you're being investigated for tax fraud. You need to do this and this and this and da-di-da-di-da. And what they basically do is they get all of your details and then they nick your profile.
That's happened here. That happened here about, it was really terrible about maybe 6 or so months ago. People were getting automatic messages claiming to be from the ATO, which is the Australian Tax Office.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, I know, it's just terrific. But there is a huge push on it at the moment, so much so that I did check the HMRC website before we came on air, and it does give you the information about 03000 numbers, which is where a lot of them come from, and says if you get anything from that, it is not us, we will not call you on these sort of numbers. And if you see that number, just hang up. And Drew has just said thank you. That's very kind of you, Drew. Thank you very much. Say hi to Peter and Tony as well, who just joined in. So that's our public service information message of the day. If you get a phone call from HMRC and it's not a proper number, just ignore it. Take no notice of it. And to be honest, they are aware of it. So even if you report it, they've got all the details. And if you are in the UK and go to HMRC, there is a page now dedicated to scams and polishing.
And that's only by HMRC.
Yeah, what about the rest of them, for goodness sake?
No, see, remember, though, that these calls are also coming from pretend banks. They're coming from...
Absolutely.
Everybody's at it. Everybody's at it. The simple thing is, don't tell anybody on the phone anything about yourself just because they've called you.
No,
check it out.
Diddly squat, mate. Don't do anything. And to be honest, if you get one like this, just say, I tell you what, mate, I'll call you back. I'll get the office number from the website, and they'll run like crazy.
Just remember, though, it happened to us. It happened to us last year or the year before.
Oh, the Microsoft one.
Yeah, where they actually did have a proper telephone number actually in the offices of Microsoft. And
well, no. Let's clarify that. It's the same building as Microsoft lease space from.
All right, so pedantic.
It's not Microsoft's offices as such. It's where they lease an office in London. Hi, Eves. I wonder where Eves is from.
Eves? Under them.
Eves Morby.
Eves Morby?
Yeah.
That's a cool name. I think I'll change it.
Yeah.
That's really Eves. Actually, that's really cool, Eves. That is a nice name, man.
Who are you, Eves? Tell us.
Where are you from? Peter Osmond's Oman.
That's a boring name.
What, Peter Oman?
I thought you said Osmond.
No, I put the S in by mistake.
Oh, right. Sorry, Peter. It's an interesting name. He just spoils it for you.
Oh, and I've got to say hi to Conquest. Hello, Conquest.
Who's that?
I don't know. He's on one of the chat rooms, and Khan wants me to say. Khan wants us to say hello to him as well. So we've done that. So we move on to the news after 10 minutes of waffling away like lunatics, as we do regularly. Fitness trainer, the celebrity one, Mandy Blank, has been found dead in Los Angeles. Lee.
Yeah, it's just really sad. She was 42. She was a fitness fanatic. She was a celebrity fitness trainer. She trained Mickey Rourke and Alex Rodriguez. At one point, she changed the wonderful, the charming, the incredible Bob Dylan. And there it was. There was a lot of speculation that it was to do with drugs and alcohol, that she'd basically overdosed and died. It isn't. Everybody's making it clear. Stop saying those sort of stupid things on the internet.
Absolutely.
She didn't die of drugs or alcohol. It's just an absolute tragedy for a woman of 42 who was living a wonderful life in LA, and just something happened.
There you go. Let's do some more messages quickly. Steve says, I get calls from Microsoft all the time. I tell them they are talking to they are talking to Mr. Emerson, and they've called Groom Lake. I then tell them that their call has been traced and ask Mr. Palmer to fire the missile. They soon run away. Good one, Steve. I like that. Stephen James says, afternoon, Eric. Weather is gorgeous here in Kent. Oh, thank you. Today. Not sure about Tokyo. Ha, 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 ha.
Where does that joke come from?
Oh, there's millions of people. Oh, my main man here's here. Rick Wigley. Ciao, dude. Mr. Radio.
Rick Wigley, I love Rick Wigley.
He's wonderful.
Wigley.
Yeah, Rick Wigley. He's the boss, Chuck. And Stephen also wants to know, I wonder how many meta-educated students would object to your BSA T-shirt you've got on. No, nobody would object to that.
BSA?
Yes. So well, actually, it does stand for British Small Arms.
You haven't got small arms after what you said to me on Wednesday.
No, I've got stretched arms from my motorbike.
Oh, yeah. Everybody was taking... I said it was fat. It was because everybody was taking the mickey out of his three-wheeler motorbike.
Yeah, right.
Don't take the mickey. He's had the stabilisers removed now. Yeah, and then he said, yeah, fat you.
Yeah, that's right. Rick says, awesome. Thank y'all. Thanks y'all. I'll get it right. Thanks, Rick. See, Rick can do it better than I can anyway. Robert Dix, the actor best known for Forbidden Planet. He's died at the age of 83. That's got to be a Rach one.
No.
Everybody knows Richard Dix.
I don't know who
my
he is.
Lord.
Look him up. Look him up.
I've never... Rach, I'm so proud of you, Rach. I had no idea either, but Mr. Banks put it there.
Thank goodness.
No, honestly.
I don't, and I've never seen a James Bond movie, so I really don't.
Haven't you?
Know.
Is that true? Did you just make that up?
Yeah, not one. Never watched one in my
Good on.
life.
I've seen one and it was rubbish.
Excuse me.
What?
Excuse me.
The man who's got two O's in his name.
Excuse me.
Yeah, he's named after a piece of paper.
You have never seen M or Q?
No, but it's not very clever to have like one letter of it. I don't know. I think the whole thing is just it's nonsense to me. It really
is a
nonsense.
genius.
But I'm sure this man Robert Dix was a lovely, nice man, and I probably would have enjoyed having a cup of tea with him.
Honestly, he's one of those. The reason it's on there is because he's one of those faces that as soon as you see it, you will know exactly who it is. Everybody out there, just Google Robert Dix, D-I-X, not the way you think it's spelled.
I think that's in Mr. Banks's fantasy world, but there you go. Derek Sherwin, the producer who rescued Doctor Who from the artistic doldrums. He's died at the age of 82. I know him.
No, I don't know him. I just Googled Robert Dix. I know him.
See, thank you. Apologise, Mr. Wiltshire.
Oh, God. Steve says, good day, Eric. Sunny's out in Suffolk. Wow. Really need it. I need
Sun's out in Wolverhampton, but you don't want to be here.
It happens so infrequently in England. I think you should all celebrate when the sun comes out.
That's very true. Steve Spreaker wants to know, or says, the bit about Tokyo, this is from Mr. Banks, it's the Radio Ham sketch from Tony Hancock. It's raining not in Tokyo, etc., Mr. Banks.
I remember now. Thank you, Stephen.
Sorry, I don't know that either.
Exactly what it is now.
That's Steve. And another Steve. We've got so many Steves, I'm confused. What's the best Bond film then, Eric? That's really difficult. That is so difficult. I
remember the Bond film that's really good. It's called Turn Off the Telly.
No. I tell you what, it's a bit like Doctor Who, Steve. It is a bit like Doctor Who. I will let those two rabbit on.
Nothing like Doctor Who. Doctor Who. Well, it is like Doctor Who because that's rubbish as well.
No, because whenever they change it, excuse me.
Yeah, rubbish, absolute rubbish. Who's it? Doctor Who? Who? Right, and I had to watch it. I had to watch it this Saturday because the gloriously, wonderfully silly Andrea wanted to watch it because that Bradley Walsh was in it.
Yes.
And I watched it, and everything was still all wobbly. The very attractive young lady with blonde hair in it, actually, as well now.
Oh, shush. But no, the problem I have, Steve...
What do you mean?
It's brilliant. Whenever they change the lead actor or they change... or Doctor Who is regenerated with both Bond and Doctor Who. I'm always terribly nervous before I see it, and then once I've seen it, I'm normally quite happy again. But I have to agree that Derek Sherwin did actually change the way Doctor Who was from this really abysmal Crossroads style 1960 show.
It was brilliant then, wasn't it, Rach?
I liked it when Tom Baker was in it because I was a kid. I was a kid, and I was like
ruined it.
I think I was like maybe 11, maybe 10 or 11 when Tom Baker was the Doctor Who. Oh. And because I was a kid, I just was chuffed and thought it was great. And as I got a bit older, I went, "This is kind of naff."
Anyway, we move on, boys and girls, getting all the news in because it's running on. Matt West, who's driving across Europe at the moment, down to I think Hungary, from what he was telling me, is joining us, as is Paul Wood. And Steve says Lee needs to get alive and watch a few Bond films. I agree.
I think you guys need to get alive and watch something else. Go to an art gallery or pick up a book.
The only Bond you should be interested in, Steve, is a bail Bond.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Chris Naylor's joined us from Luton, as has Larry Donaldson as well.
All right, Duck.
All right, Duck. Oh, God. The police are being told off, and I hate the way that some people are reporting this. I really do.
Here we go.
Why?
What's up with the reporting?
Because the reporting, well, your headline says, forget deserving issues and focus on basics, police are told. No.
That's the BBC headline, actually, dear.
Was it what?
That's the BBC headline, actually,
Well, then they're stupid.
Why? What's stupid about that?
Excuse me, my poodle needs somebody to help him walk across the road. Oh, I'll help you, madam. That's what I do. Hello.
Exactly. And it's like when they get called to all sorts of ridiculous things like that and they have to spend time on it. Yeah. This woman, Sarah Thornton, is absolutely spot on and right. Did you hear me phone then?
Yes.
And she said, look, let's stop doing all these stupid things and let's focus on catching criminals.
Yeah, but they could make that headline better. And it's the same as...
Well, the headline was just pure sarcasm, and I think it can be read the wrong way.
It can. And it's like one of my colleagues, who's a consulate warden, who had a man turn up and say, you need to get me some new false teeth, I've lost mine.
What those people that ring, what is your 000 there, 999 or something?
Yeah, they do.
They ring those and say, the ice cream man didn't put sprinkles on my ice cream.
I know, it's terrible. But I do agree, people have got to stop messing about, calling the police, the fire service and every other service, and for nothing. If you've dropped your mobile phone down the toilet, You put your hand in and get it out. Don't call the fire brigade.
But they don't get that. No, let's be fair. Let's be fair to the BBC for writing that headline as well. Because Ms. Thornton said quite directly, quite astutely, treating misogyny as a hate crime is a concern for some well-organised campaigning organisations. But we do not have the resources to do it. We should be looking at burglaries and bear down on violence. I think this woman is 100% right.
I agree. We have a different opinion here. The police need more resources so they can do more than catch criminals. They need to show the public they're human, like they did when I was a kid. Excuse me. I'm going to rant.
Human, haven't they? They're always human. I mean, what they are is human garbage collectors.
The fact is that when we were kids, you would no more dream of calling the police for a broken fingernail than you would have called anybody else. You just fixed it. And that is the problem of 2018.
And you wouldn't have thought of chucking acid in somebody's eye so you could get the bike.
Correct.
And things like that. Exactly. It's a totally different... And the police have got to be more aggressive because the community's become more aggressive.
Yeah. In an actual fact, if the police had stopped mucking about with the rubbish, got on with actually stop and search, don't care what colour you are, just stop and search, and actually decrease the criminal population, they would then have more time to go and do some fun stuff. Because it would go back to the original days where you respect... A lot of these people just don't even respect the police.
Of course they don't. They don't respect law. They don't respect society. They don't respect anybody else. And that's the problem. And Mrs. whatever she's called, Ms., has done it absolutely right. It is right that somebody should stand up, and well said the BBC, because by saying deserving causes, that's exactly what she's saying. Misogyny, beating misogyny is a deserving cause, and we should all fight misogyny, but the police shouldn't fight it for us and make it a crime.
No. Go up and do your own fighting. Hi to Robert and Trevor. And I think this is what you call poetic justice, really. For the company that's always going on and on and on and on about how holier than thou they are, Google staff walked out over women's treatment. Why didn't I? Well, I did laugh when I saw this. Staff at Google offices around the world staged an unprecedented series of walkouts in protest at the company's treatment of women, they claimed. And you know, it was so ridiculous. You've got this company who go, oh, we're all squeaky clean, we're wonderful, we're politically correct with everything, and only to find out they're rubbish at it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they also walked out for an anti-bullying stance and a couple of other things. It wasn't exclusively about women's treatment of women. It wasn't exclusively about that. It was about a myriad of things. But still, I mean, who cares? Like, you know, honestly, if they want to walk out in support of something that's actually really positive, then let them. Why get upset about the fact that they're walking out for a really good reason? It's time somebody walked out of something.
Well, I wish they'd walk out for all the fake news that Google promotes.
Very well said.
Well, okay.
Very well said.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Couple of comments already in. Trevor says, it's the courts at fault for letting the thugs go.
Eh?
It's the courts at fault.
It's not. It starts at ground level. I get that. I get what you're saying, Trevor. Yeah. Can be soft on crime. They can really be soft on crime. Magistrates. Same thing happens here. That magistrates give these really light sentences or slap on the wrist when they should be going a bit harder. But the fact of the matter is, that prisons are full. So, you know, what are you going to do with them? They got no choice but to set them back out, which is not the right thing to do. But it starts at ground level, doesn't it? Behave like a subhuman and you'll get treated like one.
Exactly. And I have to say, when people ask me what Slovakia's like, I tend to now respond, because I've changed it by a decade, it's rather like the UK 40 years ago, where if you were caught doing something stupid, a police officer would clip a teenager around the ear and not think anything of it, and then say, if you do that again, I'll take you home to your father.
And that would work back then because people were, respected authority, respected their elders, and were brought up properly. You got babies raising babies these days, and you've got people who have got absolutely no moral fibre raising children who then grow up and having no moral fibre at all.
Absolutely.
But it's unfortunately it's the reality now, isn't it?
Shock horror.
Respect it.
Shock horror. Ready? Shock horror moment. I'm going to agree with Steve Mann.
Oh,
right.
Just because I'm not sitting next to you to give you a clip round the ear.
It's gone soft, please. It's gone soft.
Steve says it's society's fault for allowing bad behaviour in the first place. Bring the kids up to respect others. And
That's exactly right.
And Becca Wales just said, "Did I hear subhuman?"
Yep.
Oh, but he's by himself today.
You did, Becca. Do bring in Hankar. Hankar so much. Tina Bratislava? Okay. Rick's headed out to prep for his show tonight. Enjoy what was over. Yeah, well, he'll be here later. He will. The Mars Shark will be here later. Steve says, "What? You agree with me? Aren't you feeling well?" No, I'm very sick, mate.
It's because you didn't mention Jeremy Corbyn, Steve.
No!
There you go.
Have you heard what's happened? The police are investigating claims of race hatred within the Labour Party now, finally. The Labour Party say it's got nothing to do with the Labour Party, and the police haven't actually said it is, but the police are investigating claims of racism in the Labour Party, the thing that Jeremy Corbyn said doesn't exist. Well, we'll see now, won't we, Mr. Jeremy?
That's slightly wasted on Steve because for some bizarre reason, yet again, Facebook has crashed.
That's probably a good thing. We were getting everybody all rolled up.
Yeah, so I'm just reconnecting as we speak. But it does give me the chance to. There was an individual. We'll use the word individual, who was ranting on about how bad a political party was, and how shocking the leader was. Yada, yada, yada. And I looked on her profile thinking, there's got to be something to this. And I found a huge picture of the Radio Caroline ship. Mm-hmm. So this young lady was ranting on about Mrs. May and the Tories and promoting Radio Caroline. So I said to her, hang on a minute, who was the geezer that tried to shut down Radio Caroline and was thinking the idea of bombing them? And she said, well, it must have been. I went, no, Harold Wilson, the Labour Party.
Yep.
End of story. She didn't even ask me for any more replies. You see, I agree, Steve. You see, you mentioned Corbyn and Facebook fails. He reckons it's a conspiracy. Good afternoon, Justin Hewitt. Hello. Hi to Toby as well, Dave Elphick. We are back on Facebook, which is rubbish with technology at the moment. All the other services work beautifully. It's just Facebook is rubbish.
Say that again. They'll cancel us again. Come on.
What do you reckon?
Play the game. Play the political game just for the next...
What you mean I'm supposed to say Facebook is wonderful?
Facebook is ace. We love Facebook. Facebook
I got a sore
by
throat.
my heart.
I've got such a sore throat.
Say it for another 30 minutes, then we don't care.
So I'm not about to. Shouldn't say that I'm actually delving in to an expose of Facebook then.
No. You should say that you're going to sell out, Uncle Eric. Just for 33 minutes. 33 minutes.
I need a drink, Rach. Got a dry throat, can't say a word. I to Eva and Larry. We move on because we have got loads more to do. There's more than 200 UK shopping centres in crisis. Yeah, and?
Well, everybody's shopping online, man.
Yeah, I know that's the problem, and what it is because you've got an unfettered marketplace on the internet that it is closing down so many businesses.
No,
I think the businesses should fight back and do better. What?
Thank you.
Hang on.
Thank you.
You guys still have Toys R Us in the UK?
No.
He throws his out of the pram when
because
you see
that went bust in
stabilisers
America.
Yeah, it's gone
And
bust.
it went bust here.
But I agree with Lee on that last sentence he came out with.
Well, that's it. Of course, that's exactly what that was the point. Thank you. I love you.
Because the high street stores are so drab, so disinterested in you, that when you walk into somewhere, they go, "Can I help you?" And I normally go, with that attitude, "Can you find the list I dropped outside, please, and bring it in?" And they look at you like you're some kind of moron.
You see, here's a true story about what happened to me in a high street store, right? And it'll take 2 seconds to tell. Well, it'll take a bit longer than that. But basically, I wanted to buy something that Eric had recommended I needed for my computer. And he said I can't remember what it was, like a dongle or something. And you could get it in any high street store. Now, at the time, I lived 20 miles away from the nearest high street store. So we phoned up the high street store and said, "Have you got any in?" And they said, "Yes." So we drove the 20 miles to the high street store. When we got there, they said, "No, we haven't got any in." So I said, "Well, I've just driven 20 miles to get here to buy it because you told us you had. I want you to pay me for my wasted journey." And you know what happened?
What?
The lady who was the serving lady said to me, I cannot be spoken to like that. I must ask you to leave the store. So all I'm asking you to do is pay me for the wasted journey because your store told me that you got it in and you haven't. And she burst into tears.
Oh, my goodness sake.
Yeah, but you're kind of scary looking sometimes.
I am
Lee.
scary.
Well, that's true, yeah.
You're really tall.
That's
very,
You've got
very,
that
very,
wild
very.
mane of hair.
Hello, Karen. Hello, James. Hello, Mike. We move to Australia for the next story. Yeah. The Royal Australian Mint launches a treasure hunt involving $1 coins.
This is hilarious because they kind of got it wrong. They really did. They let the cat out of the bag way too early. There's a dollar coin floating around, and they've forward dated the coin, so it reads 2019 on the back of it.
Oh, if you got them verified, they'd be worth millions.
Well, this is the thing: they've released 3 million of these coins have been released, but each one is stamped with the letter A, U, or S in a really hidden place on the front.
Right.
And if you find all 3, you get this prize, but they haven't quite told us what the prize is. So it's a bit like the whole Willy Wonka thing. But they sort of they've done it, but they haven't told anybody to be on the lookout for it. So we could have all shoved them in vending machines, or Lord knows what parking meters or anything. But they kind of got it a bit backwards. God love them.
It actually happened to me in Poprad last week. I don't know what we went to buy some of those little cakeys. You can buy those little cakeys on the stalls, and we bought whatever we bought. They're only dead cheap, but they're really nice. And we gave the lady on the counter, I think it was a €2 coin, and without any shame, any embarrassment, she looked it, rubbed it on a Gansey, put it in a pocket, and got another one out and put it in the till. What was that coin worth?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it might be, because people do collect those here when they are euro coins from a different country.
Oh right, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's nothing too magnificent, really. Isn't it the kangaroo out of the bag? Says Mike Darby. Ho ho.
Yeah,
ho,
he really is.
Ho,
the
ho.
kangaroo's out of the pouch.
Out of the pouch there, mate. And Dee is there, as is DJ Bridget. My word. I love these stories. They just blossom in front of me. Oh, that was so bad. That was really bad. The tax office, known as HMRC, has spent more than 10,000 of your British pounds on flowers over the past 5 years. Why? Not when people have babies, not to be nice on their birthday, but to say sorry to taxpayers for mistakes.
I know.
Here's some more money. It's another clear mistake, and enjoy these posies. That's so stupid.
I cannot.
It's not a lot of money, is it? But it's just the principle.
Yeah.
No, but I would say a nice letter.
Yeah, exactly.
Would be much better. And once, actually, I remember once I was with I won't mention the name of the bank. We used to pay in money in different parts of the country in the company I owned, and that was purely because we worked all over the country. So I paid some money in one bank, and assuming it had got to where it should have gone, it didn't, and it was rather a large sum of money. So I'm writing out company checks to pay for equipment and stuff, and they started bouncing up and down. And I'm going, but they can't. And one of them was actually to my brother-in-law. And he very, very sort of sheepishly phoned up and said, "I'm sorry to tell you, mate, but your cheque bounced." What? You're kidding me? And I went off into one, and so I phoned my branch manager up, faxed him a copy of the payment slip, because we didn't have email. Well, we did have email, but it was very embryonic. And so he went, "Oh my God, I'll call you back, Eric." Phones me back, he said, "I'm going to kill somebody." So I said, "Why is that?" He said, we've actually cancelled 8 cheques of yours. Oh. What? And he then said, "Eric, I will be back to you this afternoon. Can I fax you a letter for your approval?" So I said, "Yeah, of course you can, no problem." And so he sent me this letter over, phones me up, he said, "Are you happy with that?" I said, "Yeah, that'll do fine." I hadn't really read it. But he wrote this letter, which he sent to everybody, including my brother-in-law, describing me as the most valued customer of the bank. How seriously embarrassed they were that it was their administration fault, yada, yada, yada. I felt like I was going to get, the Pope was going to come there in a minute and make me a saint.
But at least he didn't say it with flowers,
Exactly. He sent out old-fashioned letters to everybody.
Here's a good one, a straightforward question for HMRC. Yeah?
What? Oh, no, Trevor's got an idea. Instead of sending out flowers, you should have a year off paying tax. For their mistake. I like that, Trevor. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea, mate. Nice one.
It's a question, direct.
No one would be paying tax. They make a mistake every day.
I'm going to ask this question.
Go on, then.
Right. This is directly for the taxman, and I want an answer. Right. If you can send flowers to anybody who you upset, and you spent £10,000 on doing that, when Eric Norman Wiltshire sends me some flowers to apologise for calling me fat, can he claim it on his tax?
Tax laws are different where I live.
You see, you just couldn't do it, could you?
No, he couldn't do it.
No. Hi, Andrea. Hello, Ferro. Who else we got to say hello to? Terry, Marcus, and Mick are all there. Rach, I need, the other week when Banksy wasn't here.
No one was here.
Yeah, and you needed to calm me down.
Yes.
Can you remember the words you said?
I said, "Now, Uncle Eric, we are fair and we are balanced, and we are not here to give an editorial on this particular story. We are here to present facts and wait for opinion to come back."
Thank you. Okay, got it. Waitrose, you're stupid!
No, you're not. No, Waitrose, you're not.
They are stupid. The magazine editor for the in-house Waitrose food magazine made a joke. A joke.
Yeah, he did. It was a joke.
Get over it.
It wasn't funny, though.
It was funny.
I actually think it was hilarious.
You're going to kill vegans, right? It might be all right if you're editor of The Sun or editor of the Daily Mail, but when you're editor of Waitrose Food Magazine, you can't say it.
That's what you say in the meeting when you decide what you're going to say.
Yes.
You say that first so you don't say it in the magazine.
But I agree. He said...
Kill vegans,
Maybe so.
Make them eat steak and drink red wine. That's a good idea.
And that may be funny and true, but you can't publish it. You just can't.
But he didn't publish it. It was just in an email.
It doesn't matter. You can't.
Still published.
Once it goes out into the ether, it's published. Once it goes out to the ether, it is published. So you can't. If you don't want things to come and haunt you on the internet, don't put them on the internet. If you don't want something to come back to you and haunt you in an email, don't put it in an email. You have these thoughts to people in the room, or you laugh about it with your mates when you're having a beer.
I happen to agree with Steve on this one as well. If the comedy police met me, he'd be locked up for life. And me, mate. He's just getting too silly beyond words. And I swear, I would love for the journalist to actually say, no, I didn't do this. But it's because a journalist wrote into him suggesting a series of articles. She was pitching for something, and to which he replied, "Hi, Celine, thanks for this. How about a series on killing vegans, one by one?"
What an thing to say. What an absolutely outrageously silly thing to say. I had exactly the same thing happened, or you know about this, where I was attacked abysmally 2 weeks ago, because somebody had put on a public arena something about a story that I then picked up and ran with. And it was a very important story in a lot of ways. And they went up the wall. Well, if they didn't want it published, they shouldn't have said it. And they shouldn't have sent it to a journalist, for God's sake.
Well, the journalist should. It was a stitch up, I'm convinced. I reckon he was stitched up.
To say is that the story itself, the fact that the story was published is actually the joke.
Yeah.
The idiot who wrote it to a journalist didn't have the nous, didn't have the corporate sensibility, didn't have the understanding of the profession that he supposedly is in, didn't understand what was likely to happen to him. He is a knob, and he should have been castigated.
It was very reckless. It was reckless, and it was foolish. I reckon it's hilarious, but it was reckless and it was foolish.
I've got a question for vegans.
Go on, then.
Why have we got an appendix then?
So you can find something in your book.
It's a useless vestigial organ anyway.
Yeah, well,
who cares why we've got an appendix? But you know what? Do you know how you know a vegan?
Go on.
You wait 5 minutes and they'll tell you.
I thought they all looked like Chinese people, pastry faced.
But we've got to be respectful of vegetarians, because Mike Kerslake is a vegetarian and he's a nice fellow.
No, but Mike's sensible about it.
Of course he is.
One of my daughters owns and runs a very successful vegan restaurant, and he's brilliant. I'm a vegan. Well, I'm not a vegan, but I'm a vegetarian. It's just I fail with kebabs and McDonald's, but the rest
bacon sandwiches.
Yeah, bacon sandwiches actually, and sausages.
Yeah, I'm a vegan too, but I really love steak and chicken and fish.
Not my steak either, really.
Oh, no, excuse me, Andrea, this is going to completely ruin the entire show for my two colleagues. This is going to wreck the entire show. Hi, Eric. Well, hi, Andrea. Andrea from Stratford-on-Avon here. On your recommendation, mine, I bought the book by Peter Jones on the life of Mark Murphy.
Who's he?
Who's he? I'm not ruined so far. Are you, Uncle?
No, I have no idea who either of them are.
This is hip. Mark was an incredible jazz vocalist, and I'm really enjoying the book. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Well done.
Must have been a pamphlet.
Oh, you see, they mock.
Because you said books are stupid. That's why we mock.
Let's turn the page on that and carry on.
Is Lee a vegetarian because he's on an alcohol diet?
I'm. Yeah, there's no meat in it, is there?
No, there's no meat in it. No, honestly.
Well, meat and alcohol.
This is another true story I can tell very quickly.
Are you ready? I'll do your jingle for you.
Thank you.
It's another true story.
Yeah, this happened in the Crown and Kettle in Manchester when I first started on the Daily Star newspaper X number of years ago. The Crown and Kettle was a journalist pub, and every so often the landlord would serve sausages that he'd not sold at lunch and things like that to all the journalists. And there was a bloke who'd just come out of jail, right? And he'd not had a pint of beer for 5 years. And I shall name and shame the bloke who did this. It was Harry Pugh of the Daily Star. Didn't realise who this bloke was. Thought it was dead funny to pick a handful of sausages and drop them in his pint of beer. The bloke smacked him in the gob and broke his nose.
Is that the one off the telly?
No, who? Harry Pugh?
Yeah.
No, Pugh. Not Barney McGrew. Pew, Barney McGrew. Not him.
You can't do it, can you?
I just did it. I didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Go on, then.
Pew, pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble and Grub.
You guys are just talking gibberish now. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh,
Oh,
dear.
you say some weird stuff, man, but it's
No, we
funny.
don't. I'll tell you what, somebody who knows weird stuff with me is Finlay Morton. He will remember sitting in a little room in East London in the couch, and we're all sitting there going like this after about the 90 millionth take. Oh, sorry.
Have you eaten beans? What was going on there?
No, I think we were just so tired after two days of recording one song. Oh, that was tiring. Facebook shares have risen sharply after its latest results. Smooth the investor fears. Not when I'm. Oh no, I'm not allowed to
That's
say.
great. We love Facebook.
We do. We love. We love
Facebook.
Facebook.
Just love them.
Have you noticed? You're right, Rach.
Told you.
20 minutes of being nice to Facebook. We haven't been cut off once.
No, I love Facebook and I love everything about them. And for 15 minutes, I'll love them till my dying day.
I hate Facebook.
Shh, don't say it.
Don't see what happens. I hate it.
We know what happens. It happened before.
Yeah, as soon as I start getting nasty to Facebook, boom, I'm off. That's what you call.
They've risen. Their shares have risen, and bravo, Facebook.
Yeah, that's what you call free speech, isn't it? Yeah, right, okay. I better shut up now. Accordingly, we have yet another report. I'm getting so bored with these. Climate change again. Apparently,
That's for Rachel.
Well, I'm just doing the headline and I hand it over. Oceans soaking up more heat than estimated. Really, Rach?
Yes. It's, people just say no to climate, and we talk about this a lot. People say no to climate change, but I mean, science is science, and you can't argue with science.
No.
So it's over the past 25 years, the heat that has soaked up, the ocean has soaked up so much heat, 60% more than they thought it had to begin with, and that's because of. And the reason why it's getting worse is because as it all gets warmer, we get more sensitive to fossil fuels, and we get more sensitive, the ocean, gets more sensitive to rubbish and more sensitive to pollutants because it's getting sicker and sicker and sicker. Now, when you're sick and you get somebody who's sick comes near you, your sickness is going to last longer. Your sickness is going to get worse. There's no difference with the
Absolutely.
ocean. Absolutely none at all. That's why it's biology, and it's an absolute 100% fact. And if anybody disagrees with me, I dare you to fly in a plane and come to Melbourne, and I'll take you out for lunch, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
I've got to say thank you to Ara before we go any further. Ara's on another one of our chat rooms, and she's just invited over 100 people to come to the programme, and I think nearly all of them have just arrived. Blimey.
Oh, fantastic. Where have you been?
I don't know, but thank you, Ara. You're absolutely wonderful.
La, 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 yay, Ara.
Yeah. Go, Ara. Wonderful.
Problem with the oceans, though, and it's quite. And also, if it's global warming, it's warming the ocean up, it's still freezing when you get in. But the other problem is all the human effluent which is pumped into them, and you don't so much go swimming now. It's just going through the motions.
This is the speak from a guy that drives a gas-guzzling limousine.
I need it because I was that fat.
He'd drive a Hummer if he could.
Well, that's true. Actually, to all the people that take the mickey and go, I bet it costs a fortune and all the rest. I can't do it in miles now. I've got used to do it in kilometres. I use about 2 litres of fuel for 100 kilometres on my bike, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good considering it's got 3 wheels and stabilisers. No, I tell you what, I've rented a car over here. I wanted to rent a BMW, but when I got there, we don't have a BMW for you, sir. Like that. I said, well, I'll have a Mondeo then, because I quite like Mondeos, and they get the nice car. So I ended up with a Renault Toad. I don't know what it is. It's a Renault anyway. And do you know, my big limousine that does an average of 35 miles to the gallon and can get up to 50 miles to the gallon is better than this brand new Renault, which coming down from Luton to Wolverhampton did 33 miles to the gallon. What a load of rubbish.
I love this message. I've got to do it quickly before I forget. Another beautiful message. This is from Trevor Collins, by the way, people. Facebook shares have increased because all the listeners to RTI. I thank you.
That's true.
Thank you,
That's
Mr. Collins.
True, Trevor. It's how very astute.
Very true.
How very true, Mr. Collins, you see. And he's very clever because, you see, he's made me be nice to Facebook.
You're on
Right.
the can see you.
I know, it's
Just
marvellous.
white knuckle it, Uncle Eric. You've only got 10 minutes to go.
I'm all right. I'm letting me
go.
Ryanair passengers brace themselves for a new bag rule. Go on, Mr. Banks.
Well, it just is. It's just, what can you actually take on a plane now? You have to, if you want to take your legs on, you have to pay extra, right? If you want to take a bag on, you want to take your clothes with you, you have to pay extra. You can't put your computers in the overhead lockers. You have to stick them under the seat. So I travelled all the way to Britain with my feet on top of my computer. I tried to put my jacket. So you can't put your jacket in. That has to go under the seat now. And now you can't take bags on. It's outrageous. It's ridiculous. And while I'm having a rant about it, it is high time that we actually had grown-up areas only on planes, that all the people who want to take their screaming, whinging, outrageously stupid children on planes all get stuck at the back and all the grown-ups sit at the front.
Well, all you've got to do, Lee, is ask the airline to build an aircraft with a first-class area and make the seats bigger, which means they can't take so many passengers. You pay 5 times as much as anybody else. Your job's done.
Yeah, so that's it.
Got him.
No, you haven't, because now I am grotesquely fat, according to you, on Wednesday. Right? I didn't have to pay extra to take my big fat ass on the plane, but I've got to pay extra to take my big long legs.
Your name's
You can't
wrong.
help your legs.
Your name's wrong, mate. That's all it is. Really? And we don't, and honestly, we don't know why. You know the lovely Sonia in Luton, who we wish all the best with her upcoming baby. We don't know why, but the last time I went to England, which wasn't that long ago, for some bizarre reason, Wizz Air upgraded me to their VIP priority boarding, blah, 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 blah thingy. And I was sitting right at the front, and we didn't pay any extra.
With the pilot?
No, admittedly, he was on his own. I did offer to help, but he kind of looked at
On
me
his
and went...
own? That's terrible. Pretty sure he shouldn't have been on his own.
Oh dear. This does annoy me a little bit because I do know quite a lot about this from a nurse friend of mine from Jamaica originally. Medical cannabis is becoming available on the NHS today, but only if you fit a load of criteria. And I'm sorry, you guys need to take a hint from other parts of the world rather than going, we'll have a look when we've decided how well it's going. Why don't you just go to places where they've done the tests, like Jamaica and things, where nursing staff will tell you that they can treat epilepsy with it, MS with it. They even treat asthma sufferers with it using cannabis oils, and it works.
Well, these cannabis oils, you have to say, have all the MDMA or whatever it is removed from it. So you don't get off your face on it. But it is actually one of the best drugs around. And the thing is, it doesn't have chemicals in it. It's purely pure.
Well, they can't have chemicals in it. It's a plant.
Well, you can have chemical plants. You can have chemical plants. Is one of
it can be enhanced by other things, and nefarious people, spray it with LSD and all sorts of nasty stuff.
Oh, I know they spike it, but
but it's I mean, as I got no problem with it being used as an oil.
No.
It's purely medicinal. What are you going to do with it? They take out the THC anyway.
THC,
you can't get wackadoodle.
Yeah.
You can't get wackadoodle on it. You might get that munchies a little bit, but you're not going to, you're not going to get high.
No.
So if it's like, what's the difference between using that and any other herb?
It's just a relaxant. That's the beauty of it.
It's got other medical qualities as well. Like I'm going to be honest, I can't really remember what they are. But it's a drug that's been demonised for decades. Well, for the last 150 years.
And you know what? I've never seen a punch up from two blokes partaking in cannabis.
I have.
Then you haven't seen them fight over a bag of Doritos.
We of course don't condone illegal use of drugs and all the rest of it.
Or Doritos.
Or Doritos either. Which brings me nicely along to the last story this week. I faked amnesia to get away from my nagging mother-in-law. I love that, Mr.
I would
Banks.
do the same.
What a hero! What a hero!
This guy's just a lunatic. He went to excessive lengths so he could get his manhood back or something stupid.
Salvatore Manino. The thing is, he's Italian, and he's just said, I can't remember it. Packed his bags and disappeared. Just left it all there. Left Tuscany and went to Scotland. That was it. What a hero. What a hero.
Absolutely. For those of you driving around listening, we had a message on Facebook from Dave this morning reminding everybody that you have to come to the show late, but only if you bring a note from your mum. Paul says, sorry I'm late. I just got off the phone. I have to line up the replay. Well, you can do that because it'll be here in a minute, Paul. But he says, I have got a letter from my mum here. Good on you. Good on you. I don't know. And I don't think I should know either. Which brings me nicely along to, you're not going to work again tomorrow, Rach.
No, I'm not, but the next 3 weeks after that I will be. But I've got something special planned for you.
You have, haven't you? You have.
I won't. I'll be gone, but I will not be forgotten. I'll make my presence felt. But I just got to say thank you to Uncle Lee for publishing my article about my niece Imogen and getting her locks lopped. It was a lovely thing for the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com to do, and we really appreciate it very much. She was well chuffed. She really was.
Oh, well, that's cool. We like that idea.
Yeah. Keep them coming, Rachel. It was an interesting article. People should go to the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com and have a look at this young lady.
Now, Lee, have you put it on the sort of private writers section, that one?
What private writers?
What's it called? Your Stories or something?
Yeah, it's in there. It's in campaigns. It's in. It's not actually in Your Stories, no, but it's in campaigns.
Because that is a really good read. Your Stories. Yeah,
and it's in all the cancer section, the illness section, the medical section. It's in everything, and it really is. It's been well read, and people should go to it. This is a brave young lady who grew her hair to the middle of her back. She was like Rapunzel, and then she decided so she could help other people after all the naughty people we've been talking about. She decided that she would have her haircut so she can then present it. Rachel knows more about the details of the actual charity, to help people.
It's brilliant.
Brilliant. They make it into wigs so that other little girls don't have to be sad when they lose their hair to chemo and stuff
absolutely.
like that.
Some of the stories you've got there from real people I just think are amazing, and I have to say, it's all power to Lee's elbow for taking the website in that direction, which is brilliant.
It really, really is. Yeah. Bravo, Uncle Lee.
Bravo, Uncle Lee.
Very nice of you. Thank you.
Did we really do that, Rach?
Yeah. Now, everybody's taking that advice. Go and read the Consumer Watch Foundation.
Right. Okay, so other than that, what's happening this weekend, Rach?
I'm making a lot of candles. I know that for sure. I am. I'm making a lot of candles.
I love it. I love it.
Candles for, Rach?
I've got a little side hustle going on, Uncle Lee. I've got a little side business, and I'm making candles. And do you know what I've called my business?
What?
I've called it Sniff This.
Uh-oh.
Scented candles. I make scented candles.
Sniff This.
And I called it Sniff This.
Are you going to be brave enough and tell them what your logo is?
No.
A clean pair of underpants.
Oh, no.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Something way more tasteful.
It is.
But
Well,
yes,
listen,
I'm making candles. I'm making about 70 candles this weekend.
yeah. Well, good luck on doing that, and I'm sure Robbie will help immensely. Not.
He can lug the stuff up from the car.
Yeah, that's very true. Lee, what are you up to?
Well, I'm stuck here. We've done the thing we came over to here to do. I've got a couple of other things to sort out. Then I'm going to see my one of my grandchildren, and who I've not seen since we came out here. Then I'm winging back to Poprad, where I'm much happier because I like it better than Britain, and that's a terrible thing to say, isn't it?
It's right, isn't it? There you go. We're going to leave it there. Say goodbye, City.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Say goodbye, Rach.
Goodbye, Rach.
You can't win, can you? You really can't win. I do my best. Never works. So that's about it from us for another week. We'll see you next week. Thanks to everybody. If you missed a bit of the show, don't forget you can catch up because the reprise will be on a bit later on here, as it will be on social media as well. It leaves me to, hand over the reins. Or should that be controls, knowing what he does, to the lovely Steve Bishop. This is RTI.
RTI.